Hello. Um, since it's already being talked about on different podcasts, I thought I'd chime in on the one bit of controversy that there was at the WTC. Um, since I was one of the team captains for that, I wanted to explain the situation for people who might be interested in what happened and why it turned out to be an argument and how it was dealt with. And I let me just start out by saying I don't think any of the players intentionally wanted to cheat at that point. I don't think any of the players. I think both of the players thought that they were right. Um, I have my own opinion about who was right, but I don't know. And neither me nor the Spanish team captain actually um, involved ourselves in the conflict as such. We did what we thought there should be done, both of us, which is we listened to the players, we told them to get the TO, and then let the TO handle it. There was a lot of discussion after that as well during the TO's deliberations because the deliberations took quite a long time. Um, which I felt like they should because it really mattered at that point. It really did matter. What the TOs decided would make the difference in that one game. So and since the Danish team we were 1 point behind the Spanish, so it could have meant the difference between uh, um, actually beating the Spanish and becoming number one or not. So it turned out this one situation had a lot of effect. Um, so, and if I'm misrepresenting anything, I will gladly be corrected. This is how I perceived what was happening. I had finished my own game. I was playing it was round five, I think, um, like the second last game. And I had finished my own game against the Spanish team captain Ali. I lost that game, um, and we were waiting for the time to run out, and it did. And then suddenly, the tables next to us erupted in Spanish words and some English words as well, um, and that was the players who were next to us on my left. They were Benny, one of our Danish guys, and Achilles, the Spanish player. And Achilles, unfortunately, his English is not very good, so he was having difficulty trying to understand what Benny was complaining about, and Benny was having difficulty in understanding what Achilles was trying to say back. So there was a lot of like miscommunication going on to start with. What had happened was that their time had run out, but one player, Benny, felt like that if he had had one more dice, he would have gotten a draw instead of a loss. And I'll try to explain the situation. Benny felt like that the dice should have been picked up, and he should have had time to pick those up before the time actually ran out, and maybe pick one die out of the bag. And if he had gotten the first die, which there was a good chance, he had a lot more units than Achilles did, he would have gotten a draw. And he also felt like that Achilles did not want to pick up the dice. Achilles, on the other hand, as far as I understand it, felt like the time had run out and the game was over. So there was a huge argument about that. And I have set up the situation sort of ish on my table. So I'll try to give you a photo of what happened. Here it is. So they had an objective in the center of their table, and Benny's troops were on the objective, basically. But Achilles had pushed a Stuart tank, up to contest that objective, which meant that Achilles would win if that contest stood. However, right next to and I don't have it because Benny was playing Japanese. Right behind the tank, within 6 inches, there was a suicide bomber, one of Benny's suicide bombers. So if Benny had gotten the first die, and they had turns left to go. They were only on turn 5, I think. So if he had gotten the first dice out of the bag, that suicider could have charged the tank and killed it, meaning that Benny would get the objective, securing him a draw. So very important, and none of the players felt like they were wrong. None of the players felt like they needed to give in their argument, and it ended up with the TOs discussing that for quite a long time. Unfortunately, neither me nor Ali could get the players to stop discussing it, because then they needed to explain it to other players, and I was trying, and Ali was trying as well, to get everyone just away from the table, because there's no reason for that to turn out heated in any way. And we didn't really succeed, not 100%, because everyone wanted to know what was going on, right? Especially the players involved and on the teams, they really wanted to know. Anyways, the TOs come back, asks the questions. One, has any model been moved? No. And unfortunately, they had moved some models, but not in the bit that mattered. So and then they deliberated some more, and there were a couple of solutions that could have been presented. One, they could have said the game is over. It doesn't matter. Whatever stands. The miniatures are where they are. The game is over. They could have said, "Oh, well, put all your dice back in the bag and then have the draw," which would have meant that they would allow them to play another 20 seconds, or not what Benny claimed was left. Those were the two solutions that the players wanted, right? Achilles wanted the game to be over, and Benny wanted another 20 seconds. What they did instead was that they looked at the captains and said, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take one die from each player. Order dice. Are you okay with this? And me and Ali, we looked at each other and said, yeah, that's fine. Just so long as the argument ends and the game ends, let's just move on. And then the TO Dave pulled out the one die that was going to be played, and if it had been Achilles, then Achilles would have won the game. It turns out it was Benny. So Benny got to play his one die, and his suicider ran into the steward, killed it, and he got a draw, which turned out to be really, really important for how close we were to the Spanish in the final round. That draw. So yeah, that was how that situation came about, and we played the Spanish right after this. We had the break, of course. We played the Spanish right after this. There was not a problem. Nobody was angry. Achilles and Benny, they hugged. They even played each other again in our second game in the finals, where they again drew. I think both of them really wanted to just take the draw. Achilles, because he knew if he could just draw, then we would have difficulty catching up to them. We needed 3 wins, we got 2. So a draw was enough for Achilles. And Benny wouldn't. I told all my players that don't attack. We're going into a kill point scenario. Don't attack. We just need a few victories, and that would be enough. And Benny, he drew more or less deliberately. Both players sat in their corners and didn't do much. But they were fine. They hugged it out. They played another game. There was no problem. So that was the story of the controversy at the WTC and what happened there. So, yes. I will see you guys later tonight or tomorrow again. I am having another talk with Alistair this evening. We're going to talk about games that we played. So, that was it for now. Cheers. Bye.